Hi, I'm Jackie, and this is Michelle, and welcome to the Dating Dames feed too. Between the two of us, we've racked up 47 years of marriage, have raised kids who are now teenagers and adults, and post-divorce, we're diving back into the world of dating in our 40s and beyond. Whether you're newly single, recently divorced, or waking up to the possibility of love again, you're in the right place. We're here to share our stories, our experiences, and the many laughs we've had along the way. Because you're at Dating Dames, we believe it's not about him, it's about you. And today, our podcast will dive into the topic of if the end goal has changed, why are we still playing by the same rules? So let's be honest, our generation has been taught that to date with one end goal in mind, and that's the package, the ring, the wedding, the marriage, the children, the house, and the happily ever after, right? But now we don't need that. Kids, tick. So many goals that we thought were part of the end goal no longer exists anymore. So, what is the end goal that we're playing with? What exactly are we looking for? Dare we ask ourselves that question? We're not looking for somebody to complete us anymore. We're looking for somebody to walk beside us, somebody that appreciates who we are, somebody that allows us to be seen, heard, and appreciated for who we are at this stage of our lives.
And I think that shift, that thinking is what changes everything about how you dip your toe back into this water. When the end
Yes,
goal has changed, but
yes,
we're still playing by these same old rules, these ideas of this end goal, it creates a lot of confusion in our heads. It creates
mm,
frustration. And honestly, it's a lot of unnecessary pressure that we put on ourselves because we imagine the same end goal and therefore the same process to get there.
exactly. And that's what our episode is all about today. If we allow ourselves to be open to different moments, different experiences, and change our mindset shifts, change our beliefs, beliefs that were ingrained within us from a young age, or societal beliefs, or beliefs from our friends, but beliefs that no longer serve us at this stage of our lives. Michelle, I know you've got a really good story that you can share with us.
It's a nice story. It's not that it's so dramatic, but I think it's really it really illustrates this idea of how you can embrace a date or a connection in a different way
Yes.
and still find it valuable. And so
Yeah.
the very simple story is this. Myself and a guy, we matched. We weren't in the same city. So we were on one of the apps.
Yes.
We matched. We started a conversation. And the conversation was very entertaining. He'd spent a lot of time in Paris. He's an artist. He had recently relocated back to his home country on a small island off the coast of Africa. And he's pursuing this rather unconventional life. I don't even know if he has a job, but he's built a small cabin. He loves experimenting with cooking and local foods. And
Yeah.
he's actually quite an interesting conversationalist. We
Mm,
never ended up meeting. He left Thailand and he went back to his country, but our conversations have continued. We don't even talk
mm,
every day. Every now and then we
mm.
send a few chat messages. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're thought provoking. He likes to tease me about my organizational focus, and I tease him about what new foods he's making. But
Yeah.
the whole point is that it's a very unstructured conversation. There's almost no romance in it, to be fair.
Mm,
There's no
mm.
flirtation. We've hardly, I don't think maybe we've sent one voice message, but they're
Yeah.
interesting, thoughtful exchanges that, in a way, really help me access a different part of myself that none of my other dates have.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
each interaction you have with someone can bring out this little slice or amplify a part of you. And then you can look at it and think, I like that. That's interesting. I don't know what to do
Yeah.
with it. I don't know where it's going, but I'm
Mm.
enjoying it.
So we've been speaking, or we will be speaking about mindset shifts, right? And for the most part of our lives, as you know, the mindset shift was dating has to have an end goal. How did you go about changing your mindset shift on this matter? You're conversing with somebody that you may or may never meet. There's no romantic spark between the two of you. And yet it's a conversation that keeps you enthralled, that you're learning from. How did you make that change?
Well, I wish I had the exact formula. I wish I could also say, oh, yes, I've done that. It's complete. But to be fair, I'm also a product of my generation and of a long,
Mm.
long relationship. And making that change to being open to the possibility is still in process, I would say. And I'm trying to think about, well, and set little goals for myself. Oh, would I want to get married again? Maybe not. Would I want to live with
Mm.
someone? Oh, not sure. And so through
Yeah.
that process of questioning myself, I think I'm starting to refine. And in the refining, I'm also realizing that the fun, the experience is really the point. It's not
Yeah.
about where I'm going. So it's still very much a work in process, but
Yeah.
dating has allowed me to really open that up, that whole expectation, that whole deep mindset that many of us have had,
Yeah.
and put it out on the table and look at it and say, does that really serve me now?
Yes. I think that's a really good question, and a question that many of us, our listeners, should think about and ask themselves. Is it a mindset shift? Is it an idea? Is it a belief that serves me? That's really important. So, do you want to share some of the mindset shifts with our listeners?
It's always a little bit difficult
A
to say that,
tongue
isn't it?
twister.
So I think the
Before you
first,
do,
yes,
sorry, Michelle, before you do, how about I will take our listeners through the four mindset shifts that we'll be discussing today, and then we can break it down for them. I think
that
that's a
sounds
great
great.
idea.
Good idea.
Yeah, so our first one is, well, we're entering a new chapter of our lives. Who we are now versus who we were in our 20s is very different. Why not set a new intention? And then the second one will be, let's redefine the dating process because what happened ages ago does not need to be the same now. Thirdly, we need to shift our approach toward dating. And this is a very internal process. This is nothing to do with anything that takes place outside of us externally.
Mm.
And then finally, ask yourself the question, what type of energy are you radiating? What type of energy are you willing to bring and receive in this process? Michelle, kick it off with the mindset shift.
New
The first
intention.
one.
So
Yeah,
I think, as we were saying, when we were younger, dating had a very clear direction and in many ways a very clear process. It was basically an escalation from a simple date to marriage and happily ever after.
yes.
But now as we've said, we've ticked those boxes. That's not the point anymore. So then you have to say, what is my intention? Why am I dating?
Mm,
Maybe you just want to have some laughs. Maybe you want to
yeah.
feel a spark. The dopamine, the oxytocin, all of these are just
Oh, it's
wonderful feelings.
wonderful.
And maybe you want to rediscover your sensuality, or maybe you
Yeah.
just simply want to build a connection and have a bit of fun. But
Mm,
if we carry the old stories with us, if I go on a date, then I have to have an outcome. It has to go
yes.
somewhere. Or
Yeah.
I will only date men or anyone, I will only date people who meet these criteria, right? I've got a long laundry list. And honestly, that list has gotten longer over the years. And the big one, what if I go on this date, or what if I carry on a long texting conversation and it goes nowhere? Does that mean I'm wasting my time? My time is valuable and my time is short.
Yes.
And so I think for each of us, we have to contemplate these questions and decide whether it's a waste of time or what is a waste of time. It's
Mm,
not a waste of time in my mind if it helps you discover some joy, you get a connection, you learn something about yourself, maybe you refine further what you want and
yeah,
don't want in a future partner. So to me, that's
absolutely.
not even a waste of time, even if after that coffee date you say, no, I don't think we'll go any further. That was not a waste of time in my mind.
Absolutely. I think we also need to, as the second shift, we need to redefine the dating process. And you get to do it. You get to redefine the dating process. And it's not about what society dictates to you. It's not about what a family member or friend says when they say things like, oh, I could never do that. Why would you want to do that? It's not about anybody else but yourself because you're the one involved in the process. And so surrounding yourself with people who actually cheer you on is really important. But it is also you that walks this road. And so it's not about finding, because you've also learned that you are changing constantly. You are evolving and growing as a person. And what you enjoyed 20, 30 years ago, you may not enjoy now. And that's exactly what dating is all about. Sometimes it's just about having an amazing laugh. I remember one night having dinner with a date, and it was incredible to feel his presence in that moment. I felt like it was just the two of us in that restaurant.
Nice.
Nothing else existed. We laughed. He piqued my curiosity. It was absolutely amazing. We never saw each other again afterward. Was that a waste of time to me?
No.
Absolutely not, because that experience was a mirror in my life of what I want more of. And that's what we mean by redefining your dating experience. So maybe you just want to hang out with a foodie, or maybe you want deep, meaningful conversations. It doesn't have to be serious to be valid. It can be playful, it can be healing, it can be fun. That is enough.
And that's perfect, because then if you start thinking about the change in your approach, which is the third kind of adjustment we're talking about today, and you start trading the outcome. Where is this going? Did I get the second date? Do we have a third date? Am I going to meet the parents? Whatever the outcome was, instead of having that outcome in mind, focus on what the experience was. Focus
Yeah.
on how you felt, focus on the energy, not on some sort of list of credentials. Did they have a certain job, or do they know certain people, or will they take you to certain places? They might look perfect on paper, or they might look perfect on LinkedIn, but how do
Absolutely.
you actually feel when you are with them? Do you feel calm? Do you feel seen? Do you feel excited? Do you feel attractive? Do you feel like that's your best self they're bringing out? Because the energy doesn't lie.
Energy
Finally,
does not lie at all.
and finally, ditch the timelines. Get rid of those altogether. Who cares?
Absolutely.
You're not running behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be at this moment in your life.
So true, Michelle. And then finally, we look at the energy. What is the energy you wish to bring? Because it's not just about him, as we keep saying, it's about you. So, what is the energy you radiate? What is the energy you wish to bring? And then, what type of energy do you wish to receive as well? And I think it's really important to pause and ask yourself that question. What energy do you want to feel at this stage in your dating life? Remember, dating is not about the end destination. It is about the journey. It's about the joy, the expressing, the frivolity, the exploring. Michelle mentioned it really well earlier that she says she's having discussions with somebody that they'll probably never meet. Does it matter? Because she derives a little tiny sliver, and that little sliver is a reflection of what she enjoys, who she sees within herself, and how multifaceted we are as women. And I think it's so important to remember that. And finally, as she said, your energy does not lie.
So just to recap, in case anyone hasn't been taking notes along the way, first, just think about the intention. What are
Yeah.
you looking for? And when we say looking for, it's not necessarily about the end goal, right? Think about where you are at this stage in your life and what intention you are bringing with you to the dating process, and redefine that process. Think about how you want to uncover these sides of yourself and meet people, and how you want to engage. Change your approach. That's the engagement style. And finally, tune into the energy, because it's intuitive. It will help you understand what you're looking for. It will help if this person will have further meaning in your life other than just this one moment in time. Tune into the
Absolutely.
energy.
Absolutely.
And for our listeners, why don't you share with us in the comments any of the ideas, other ideas you might have of rules or mindsets that you've been operating with that you'd like to change? I'm sure they will
Yes.
resonate with everybody else.
Exactly. Mindsets that no longer serve you anymore. And I think that's the big question. So if today's episode has sparked something within you, share it. Share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share it with anybody who wishes to start a new chapter in their lives and help us grow our community of dating dames.
And if you're looking for guidance or just a little more fun along the way, come find us on Facebook and Instagram at Dating Dames V2.